I'm just here to quickly tell you that we've also got more events today. So we've got the Radical and Feminism, which will be here straight after this session. And we've got the Crisis in Europe at 6 till 8 in LTV2. So try and come to those if you can.
And music at 8 in the LTV foyer.
Yeah, and food.
And food.
And food.
For food, no bombs.
And the other thing is that we're just going to pass around an email sign-up list, which is for anyone who wants to stay in contact with the people who have organised this and other people to try and organise maybe different events on campus or different bits of activism, or just seeing what we can do to take this forward, which we do here. So I'll start passing that around. Fill it in.
Alright, so my name is Abby. I'm involved in the food co-op in the Essex environment, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what we're doing. So these are all the sections we're going to go into. At the end of each section, we're going to have a talking period where everyone can voice their opinions, or can suggest something, or ask us questions. What I'd like to talk about, though, is about how radicalism has to do with environmentalism and what makes environmentalism radical. Because in many people's opinions, including my own, you can't really be pro or against environmentalism. The environment is what you grows around you, how you react to the world, and it has a lot to do with who you are as a person. Environmentalism, though, in of itself, has a long history of activism from the 60s. You probably know about the Climate Report of 1965, which was given then 10 years, and it's about how we have reached a point where we cannot sustain our population. And all of these things, in conclusion, come together to define what it means to be radical in an environmental way. Because it has to do with being aware of your environment, it has to do with being aware of how you influence the environment, and how the environment influences you as a person. What this has what we're trying to do on campus is to build a liberal activist network so that we can have as many people from as many denominations with as many ideas as possible. What makes this such a strong program with community-based decision-making is that each idea is important, and it can come together to create more ideas that are stronger because we have more people. Now, each section is going to go into what it means to be environmental, what it means on the broader scale of activism on campus, and what they would like to do in the future. So please do get involved, please do ask questions, and I'm going to hand it over to Tori on marine conservation.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, shit. Sorry. Is that F5?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm Tori. I'm from the Marine Conservation Society. I'm basically just going to present a couple of problems that we deal with in our society. First of all, we got marine leaching, which I'm assuming most of you know that it's a huge problem nowadays. It's estimated that it's about 100 million tons of plastic floating around. I don't know if that's not even like including all the debris that's on the bottom. You know, what kind of overview we got this? Not really anything. You know, I can't really. Well, 100 million tons is such a big number. Like, how can we even begin to understand how listed that is? And 80% of this is plastic, because it doesn't decompose, right? So it's around in these 5 main areas here in the ocean, as you can see. And this obviously affects all marine life, birds, mammals, fish, on different levels. Here we can see an example from the film, Bird Island. Yeah. Or it's actually, I think that's Midway. There's some of these films. So basically what's happened is that birds feed their young ones plastic, because that's what they pick up in the ocean and thinking it's food. And then they die of starvation because they can't digest the plastic. We also got an example there with like nurdles, which is like really tiny plastic particles. And you know, I don't even think we don't think about or we get like biomagnification of the food chain, and it's just, yeah, horrible really. And all the toxins and stuff as well that comes into the food chain. So what we focus on in our society is, beach cleanups. And obviously it's like on a really small level, but this is what we have to do, right? To stay involved and do what we can really. So this is like some of what we do, try to do beach cleanups sometimes. And it's ridiculous just even here in Colchester how much littering we've got in store hospitals. Yeah. Let's see. And another problem that we're working with on the environmental level is overfishing. What we try to do in our society is basically to inform our members about what kind of problems that are out there. And about like littering as well and overfishing, it's not things that are really obvious to everyone because it's not in front of us, you just go to Tesco and you buy fish and you don't really think about it. You don't really think about the litter in the ocean, that there's like a massive thing of just litter in the middle of the Pacific that's like twice the size of Texas, which is horrible. But yeah, there are places overfishing. We try to focus on that. We should pick up some of our sustainable fish methods for guidance. Yeah, it's estimated now by the UN that 80%, I think, of fish stocks are overexploited, either fully overexploited or just depleting or collapsed even, which is just, can't even begin to understand. And the net, that you use obviously, sometimes the size of 4 football pitches. And then you get a little bycatch as well. Sometimes it's like 80-90% bycatch, especially with like shrimp and catch shrimp, because then like the net's so small that you just get a lot of bycatch. And this is just thrown out again in the ocean. It doesn't really survive getting on board of the boat. And, yeah, it's such a waste really. So we try to keep focused on that. And yeah, fish farming as well. We try to talk about, which is, it's complicated because you don't really know the pros and cons. Because obviously then you don't have a bycatch program, but then what kind of diseases are you, or what,
like chemicals coming off the land, and like diseases that can happen in such close proximity. I mean, look at the size of these nets that they keep them in, they're tiny. And so parasites, diseases can be just passed on like that if you're all squished in together. And then we don't know what that could be passed on. It could be fish to human, it could be fish to another fish that we eat, or it could just be direct.
So yeah, I guess my point is that in our society, I think this is quite good, Would you care more if I was a panda? And I think a lot of people would,
Yeah.
Very cute and fluffy and nice, not too nice. Yeah, so we try to just focus on marine issues. It's quite hard on campus because a lot of people would rather be involved with animals, not
People don't realise how close to the sea we actually are. I mean, Clapton's like, 10 minutes away, the estuary is right there, and it just goes straight in.
And how important it really is and how dependent we are on the ocean.
Yeah.
Every second breath you take comes from the ocean, So, yeah, it's going to be a challenge, and so I just wanted to, present people to see it. So, yeah, like us on Facebook, and we have a link on informing people about what's going on in the ocean. I think that's it. Okay. Anyone got any questions? Yeah?
Yeah, I was wondering a little bit, sell fish and chips here, and to what extent have you campaign for catering to sell sustainable
On campus?
fish? Yeah.
We try.
We give out
really
those leaflets a
Yeah.
lot, and I know a couple of people in the society last year managed to get sustainable tuna sold. And
I think we've been in contact with the university as well, but I don't know.
cheaper to buy, say, everyday value cod or whatever. You've got to, and we understand that being in a university with students who don't have a lot of money, but we just want to make them aware of the alternatives really. Like Tori says, we can't stand there and go, buy this, but we can help to educate so people think about it.
Yeah.
On the note of cost, for those that eat tuna, when I used to buy tuna, I found that Tesco's value is actually following line. It's sustainable.
Yes,
Yeah, so
I mean,
like,
you
Yeah,
just,
I'm
you
not
just
saying
gotta
that.
look.
I know, but I'm saying like to
Yeah,
support
yeah,
people if
that's
they
good.
wanted to save costs.
Yeah, and some people we know would argue that no, tuna is sustainable.
Yeah.
Different opinion. I haven't specifically looked into tuna. But yeah, no, thank you.
Just look on the label, see if it is.
But there's quite a good few pages online where you can check what kind of fish is for. And that's everyone's choice.